government organizes empowerment workshop for people living with disabilities. Educationists advocate adequate support for children with Down syndrome, plus reviving Nigeria's cultural values. Correspondents examines the issue and gaps in modern society. It is my pleasure to welcome you to this edition of The Correspondents. It promises to be interesting and educative as well. I am Amina Baba Suleiman, and many thanks for joining us. Let's begin with the federal government intervention to people with special needs. In a bid to nurture and harness the potentials of people living with disabilities to function properly and boost local production, the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development has organized a 3-day workshop to identify indigenous producers of assistive technologies in Makurdi, Benue State. Correspondent Taina Umar tells us that participants were drawn from the 36 states of the Federation.
It is no doubt that Nigeria boasts of many local producers. Amongst them are people living with disabilities who are also contributing to local production. However, local content in the country is faced with a lot of challenges ranging from outdated technologies, lack of credit facilities, and modern technical know-how, amongst others. This gathering is therefore intended to address some of these challenges, enlighten and encourage local producers on how best to develop and improve production and to ensure quality control.
The cost of importing the devices is becoming high on the federal government, and therefore they need to look inwards. This can be achieved by encouraging our local producers to rise up to the occasion and challenge the critics that they can deliver and match up with foreign counterparts. Government is ready to provide an enabling environment for you to thrive. It is on that basis that a nationwide assessment visit to local producers of assistive devices was carried out in 36 states and the FCT with a view to identifying how and where government can encourage and support them.
Some producers have folded up because they lack the basic capital to strengthen their production. More so, they could not access credit facilities from banks due to stringent nature of the conditions usually placed on anybody wishing to access any loan facility from a bank. It was also discovered that they lack modern technical know-how to compete favorably with their foreign counterparts.
Dr. Samuel Oto has never relented in the responsibility of people with special needs. In concrete terms, he has established programs on education, vocational skills training, livelihood empowerment, which will go a long way in sustaining and equipping them to attain greater heights in different professions, while where sky shall be their limit.
Getting the necessary components for the artificial limb and assistive devices in this country have been a big challenge to the local producers of all these assistive devices. This kind of program, looking at how we can harness our valuable raw materials within our reach to produce all these assistive devices, I think is a welcome development from the federal government.
Nasiru Abdullahi, a 43-year-old tricycle manufacturer from Zamfara State, says the meeting came at the right time.
I very, very appreciate with this training because I'm not expected it in my life to attending this workshop, because the Nigerian government under of the administration of His Excellency General Muhammadu Buhari he was giving us special consideration with people with disability, because now this administration, he showed the people with disability we are equal with the others.
I've spent like 3 hours now, and I've started meeting different people with different ideas. We've started sharing our idea, and at the end of the day, I believe the program will impacted a lot of opportunity and advantage.
For other disabled persons, the meeting is a dream come true.
And joining us to speak further on the federal government empowerment program to people with special needs is our correspondent, Tena Umar. He joins us via phone call from Makurdi. Tena, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Tena, is a dream come true for the people living with disabilities. What was the take home from the workshop in the area of encouraging those indigenous producers?
Yes, this capacity building is the first of its kind for people living with disabilities. And these special people who are living with disabilities are people who are not just into manufacturing any kind of equipment, but they are also specialized in manufacturing and producing devices that assist their own members who are disabled. And that is why you will discover that some of them manufacture wheelchairs, artificial limbs, and tricycle for use for disabled people. Now, the workshop has got them together. They are going to cross-fertilize, bring the ideas, share common thoughts, and see how best they can improve on their local production. Because mind you, what they are trying to do is more or less to produce assisting devices for their members. And that is the focus of the capacity building, to see how they can come together, bring the ideas, share thoughts, and also share experiences and chart a way forward.
Okay. From your reports, Tena, you said local content in the country faces a lot of challenges, ranging from outdated technologies, lack of credit to lack of technical know-how. Did the capacity building address those issues?
Yes, very well. The Federal Minister of Humanitarian Natural Disaster Affairs, who are the brain behind this capacity training, have brought together experienced technocrats, resource persons that are well backed in local production. And what they try to do in this capacity building is to identify some of the challenges confronting these people, which of course has to do with the kind of things they use in manufacturing some of these locally producing. And because some of the equipment that they use in manufacturing some of the locally products does not make international standards, they are now trying to bring up new technology, new inventives, and also to show them modern technical know-how. For example, a participant then manufactured a tricycle, and the tricycle has a little machine that makes it very difficult for a physically challenged or a disabled person to ride. That means the person has to put in more energy. But with the workshop today, they brought modern technology and modern inventives into that tricycle meant for disabled people. So therefore, when a physically challenged or a disabled person is using the tricycle meant for those with disabilities, he finds it more easier in carrying himself along instead of the initial local ways of manufacturing this tricycle. So the workshop has brought experts, those who are versatile in the field. They've come together and they've injected new ideas into the participants who are mainly disabled people drawn across the 36 states of the Federation, and they have also learned new and modern ways of producing their things locally.
Okay, we know that these indigenous producers also lack basic capital to improve their businesses. Is there hope for financial assistance?
Yes, there is hope for financial assistance.
Oh, wow.
The Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, through the Department of Special Needs, have marked some special funds that will assist these people. And that is why before they arrive at the selection process, for those involved in the capacity building, they've gone around the 36 states of the Federation, including the FCT, to pinpoint money should be given as incentives or as credit facilities to producers, but it never gets to the original producers. Unlike also in other spheres of the economy, money should be given, credit loans will be given to farmers, but they never get to the actual farmers. Also in the production chain, credit facilities, unlike in the previous administration, will be released, but it never got to the local producers. But thank God, the Ministry of Nigerian Affairs has carried out a critical survey and has come out with this set of participants whom they have been convinced that they are into local production. And they have already marked and set up a program under the ministry through the Department of Special Needs to ensure that these will get credit facilities to boost their businesses than going to the conventional bank where they are not guaranteed of getting a single digit interest loan rate. But with the assistance coming from the Ministry of Nigerian Affairs, which I believe might not be so cumbersome for the local manufacturers, I think it is a blessing in their own favor.
Okay, lastly, what should Nigerians look forward to in the area of developing local contents going forward?
The local content today, I believe Nigerians should look up to, should be happy that it is going to open our economy. You know, we are in a developing society where we are facing a lot of competition. And when you boost local production, it also competes favorable with the foreign investor. And I believe that going by the initiative of the parent body, that is the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management, who have been marked to bring together a set of physically challenged people who are into local production and to boost them financially, I believe that by doing so, it will also boost the economy of the country, enhance capacity and quality in local production that will compete favorable with the foreigners. And above all, it will also bring about job creation, because when these participants are supported financially and they are boosted, they will in turn expand their businesses, which will also attract employment. Many youth will be gainfully employed, and it will also enhance and boost the development of our country.
Okay, with that, we conclude the interview segment of the Correspondents. Thanks a lot, Thena, for being part of the program. We hope to see you again next time.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Still talking about disabilities. Children with Down syndrome need skilled teachers and caregivers who understand their abilities, strengths, and interests to harness their innate potentials. Some special children teachers in Uyo brought this to the fore while emphasizing the need for adequate provision of relevant teaching aids for improved productivity among Down syndrome children. Correspondent Ifeoma Aikoji has the details.
It is for persons like Emedion and many others with Down syndrome that the United Nations rolls out programs to promote platforms to empower these special people who were born with 47 instead of the 46 chromosomes needed for normal existence.
And this extra one chromosome that is there is the culprit, the one causing the problem for these children. They have mental impairment. That means their brain is not developed very well, so they cannot compete equally with counterparts in school. So that's the major problem they have. Then they also have other problems. In 50%, that means that in half of them, they come down with heart problems.
These distortions result in imbecility and other issues which, according to experts, affect the overall development of these persons, making teaching them a Herculean task.
Plus 1 is equal to 3.
These children are special children. If you want to teach them, for them to gather at least something, you have to make sure that you love them. In fact, you show sympathy.
I was posted down here and they asked me to take over the class. I was very happy when I came in here and saw them. The children need love and care.
What then can be done for individuals with Down syndrome to enable them attain meaningful and effective participation in the mainstream society?
We need to have teachers that will be patient with them, that will draw them to themselves and take good care of them.
They really need skills, what they will use their hands to do. There are some of them, since they don't talk, they need what they can do with their hands, like entrepreneurial studies to be included in their studies so that it will help them.
The specialists available, pediatricians, they may need to see ENT surgeon, they may need to see other specialists. So don't hide in the house, don't keep them, abandon them at home, bring them to hospital. They will get information and advice pertaining to their needs per time.
And when they come like that to the hospital, you see other children, other parents with children who have Down syndrome. You're able to ask them, okay, what school does your child attend? How has the school benefited the child? And so many things like that. How better can I do this? How better can I do that?
Some more needs to be met to better the lives of individuals with Down syndrome.
Seeing as we teach them, we need instructional materials because they cannot really comprehend. It's what they see that matters. So if they see instructional materials enough, they can easily hold and easily understand what they are taught.
Especially that bus, a bus that will convey in terms of emergency, or maybe like now we are getting into the rainy season, some of them will have difficulty coming to school and leaving the school back home.
I tell the parents, don't ignore them. Have hope in them, instill something in them, bring them to the school. What the teachers, whatsoever the school is telling them to do, let them do it. Let them not push these children aside.
These children are looking up to you. They're looking up to the leaders. They're looking up to the society to make life better for them.
I quite agree with you, Ifeoma. Children with special needs should not be ignored at all. They need love and care from everyone for a better society. And many thanks. Still to come, child upbringing and societal challenges, the role of parents. Join us again after the break.
The coronavirus, also known as COVID-19, has been declared by the World Health Organization as a global pandemic. While clinical trials are ongoing for a vaccine and a possible cure, there is no known treatment for the coronavirus. Nigeria has recorded some of these cases, and people are advised to take these preventive measures to keep themselves safe and contain the further spread of the virus. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water, or use hand sanitizers all the time. Maintain social distancing. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Practice respiratory hygiene. If you have fever, cough, and difficulty breathing, seek medical care early. Do not panic. Stop the spread of unconfirmed news. Follow the official government news outlets and report all cases immediately. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA.
Welcome back to the Correspondents. Now, our next story focuses on ways of reviving cultural values, which has become a source of concern to many. The outright neglects for cultural values and lack of parental authority over their children in recent time are posing a threat to social security and control. Worried about this development, stakeholders have urged parents, religious and traditional leaders to work collectively to revive those values in order to rekindle hope for youth development in Nigeria. Correspondent Ibrahim Sani examines the situation.
Northern Nigeria was known for its attractive cultures, norms and values, as well as arts and crafts, in addition to generosity and mutual respect embedded in the way and manner people live their lives in the region. People in Northern Nigeria are known for their hospitality, mutual respect, love for one another, and being accommodating. Cultures in the region which form part of the people's life were admired by all, including the tourists who visited the region during festivities such as Salah festivities, traditional competitions, and turbaning ceremonies, among other attractive events which showcase the rich cultural heritage identified with people in the region.
The most amazing thing with them is that they preserve their culture. They don't destroy culture like other places.
These cultural values are also reflected in the way things are done by people, especially in the area of human interactions, resilience, generosity, attitude, and general behavior, among other values identified with people in the region.
I invite everyone in this world to come to Nigeria. It's a safe country, it's very rich in culture, and everyone is very welcoming.
However, there are concerns upon which how these values are declining over time. This trend, according to some parents, can be reversed if people, particularly the religious community and traditional leaders, work together to return the lost glory identified with people in the region.
I think this is something that especially the traditional institution has to do, the ulamas have to do in terms of especially so those aspects that go against the tenets of Islam, and that go against the tenets of our traditional culture. I think we have to find ways and means of curtailing them. Otherwise, over time, the future generation will look at them, will see them as part and parcel of the Hausa culture, and they will carry on with them.
So nowadays, so many misunderstanding between neighbor and neighbor is because of these small kids. You cannot control them, because if you control them, their parent will come and start abusing you or start telling you something which is contrary to our values. This is very serious.
Some years back, parents actually care and train their children. You discover that where big people are, for example, parents and their children, sometimes the parents will talk to the children and they will obey. They will respect them. And nowadays, it's very difficult. That original home training has been lacking, or it has been kept aside. Child is not only for one man. It's not only for his parents. Child training actually is both for the community and the society. But these things are now left behind.
However, stress the need for children to be enrolled into schools to acquire Western and Islamic education to make their future bright.
Yes, Ibrahim, proper education is designed to mold the character of children, to enable them become useful to the family in particular and to the society in general. There is need to go back to the drawing board. Thanks so much. And with that, we come to the end of the correspondence this week. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you again next week, same time. Don't forget to follow our Twitter handle at FUOLUA NTA, hashtag NTA Correspondents. You can use hashtag NTA Correspondents whenever you make a comment or ask a question. And a quick reminder that COVID-19 is still around us. Continue to abide by the government regulations and safety protocols, and more importantly, get vaccinated. Take responsibility and stay safe. See you again next week, same time.